tell us about you.
Hello, I'm Salome Dumbadze from Georgia, not the state, but the country at the intersection of Eastern Europe and West Asia. I am an organizational psychologist and I'm currently pursuing PhD in positive psychology. I'm also a researcher and educator at the School of Social Sciences of Georgian Institute of Public Affairs, also known as GIPA. And today I will talk about our collaborative resilience and VUCA research. Please go back to the slide. And also we'll address some of the practical implications to social emotional learning for building resilience. I will start with introduction of Georgian Institute of Public Affairs that currently collaborates with JIRA, surprisingly having very similar acronyms, and it's located in Tbilisi, the capital of Georgia. It was founded in 1984, and since then it has stood as one of the first innovative Western-oriented projects. So our School of Social Sciences started working since 2011, and based on our geographical, social, economic, and political context, it's especially vulnerable to impact of VUCA world. So our research is both important for our local community as well as for international communities. Now, please go to the next slide, and I will introduce you to RESWELL, where with help of GIPA, we got into the area of resilience research. And so RESWELL is short for Multinational Resilience and Wellbeing Research Collaboration. It's based at Tel Aviv University and is a leading research center specializing in resilience research across 20 countries with 50 researchers that include our institution as one of the members. So RESWELL was actively researching resilience prior and during COVID-19 outbreak, as well as during the war in Ukraine. And GIPA has collaborated with it since 2020. So through funding of GIZ, we had the chance to participate in most of the researches during COVID, during the Ukrainian war. And so our students were making major contributions in the research too. So last semester, we had the chance to extend the RESWELL collaboration to VUCA RESWELL initiative, with international group of 30 researchers and field experts that are led by Professor Mayer. And as you can see, based on our logo, and I will mention it again because many viewers might forget the meaning of VUCA, it stands for short for volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, and hyperconnected. And the term is used to describe the current state of the world that negatively impacts our wellness, even beyond our awareness. So our VUCA group includes the research of impact of media, language of resilience, and creation of valid tools to measure each component of VUCA. So the goal of our research is to go beyond theory and find the best practices for application of our results to innovative technology and educational and training programs. So as for our School of Social Sciences of GIPA, with our Georgian subgroup that is being led by Professor Manana Gabashvili, we are focused on the topic of research of language of resilience. So our master's degree candidates are currently working on the thesis in relation to that. So next slide, please. So during research with RESWELL, we investigated resilience indicators, positive coping indicators, as well as negative coping indicators. And what we have found was very important for our local community, especially in the case of internally displaced community, as well as for the local one, was that we were especially impacted by Russia-Ukrainian war, including the informational war that was going on then, as it was presented by media. So in comparison with six other countries that were involved, our data showed that in Georgia, we had the lowest community resilience, we had highest anxiety and depression symptoms right after Ukraine. And also we had PTSD symptoms, second to Ukraine, but being the top of the remaining 5 countries. So perceived threats were the highest in our sample, even in comparison to Ukraine. Also, the empathy towards refugees was the highest in Georgia. And this shows how the media, how the situation around us might impact our mental health. And so these findings are very important because they show how important social emotional education might be in our local community, both for internally displaced populations or local populations. Even though our sample was smaller and we had many limitations, still we can see certain tendencies that might not be representative of the whole country, but still we see how big is the problem of the VUCA world today. And now when we are more aware of VUCA and its importance to resilience, instead of focusing on the problems, our group wants to focus on solutions, which lies in education and training. So next slide, please. As you already know, Professor Abraham Gerard Meyer, along with Dr. Lebowitz and Professor Leisman, founded the Mental Wellness Society International. And prior to that, Dr. Meyer and Dr. Lebowitz created Mindful Choice System for therapy and coaching, as well as Evoke Psychologist Skill Icons. And so these are the visual icon cards. Please go to the next slide. These are the visual icon cards, and now they are expanded into social emotional learning of resilience for children of different age groups, as well as focusing on adults in building resilience through mindful choice therapy and coaching. And currently we are working on PhD project to extend the social emotional learning program beyond children's age groups and concentrate on application of program to our local bachelor degree students, as the use of these age groups are building blocks of our future and our societies, and they are unfortunately especially vulnerable to the effects and impact of VUCA. And next slide, please. As for the solution, our VUCA group believes that beyond educational programs focused on youth, we need to go beyond that and train corporations, organizations, governmental institutions through science-based trainings and workshops as another important building blocks for development of resilience of our communities and societies. So these are kind of the part of the bigger picture of societal resilience. And so impacts of VUCA are really big in rapidly ever-changing world. So we already can see that resilience to VUCA will become as important and even more urgent than reducing pollution and developing sustainable environmental policies as they were before, because VUCA is silent and dangerous societal cancer that we need to deal with somehow, which is why we believe that our research can be of practical value in having impact on increasing the resilience of our societies and a way to adapt to the changes occurring in our world. So through the science and through the resources available to us, we want to target both individuals and companies, corporations, organizations, institutions through training and education. So thank you so much for your time and for your attention.
Great in a short time, Salome. So question answer, Neville is still with us, or should I, Neville, you are with us? Okay, so question answer, we don't have too much time, but the question is what next? So this is the first introduction meeting to our group, and we will have other seminar which will be more topic by topic, and we will have training. But if you leave here with one thing, it's important to realize that VUCA is now a name like at the beginning of COVID, and it's on a big world crisis. Every economical system existing, every model have been destroyed by VUCA, and we are looking for new system working with economists. You also need to understand that this group it's not just a group of few individuals. It's a movement. It's a movement worldwide of people who came together and have decided to change the world the quickest we can to help people. And it's a big work. It's a commitment. And we will have the meeting, and we would like you to contact us and to let us know how we can help you. How can we be of service to you? Is there any question? I will take one question and we will close. Any question? Okay. Then I want to thank all of you for listening to us. All of you, my friends, to be amazing presenters under pressure. It comes with VUCA and resilience. And I want to thank all of you and thank you so much. And let's work together to protect the weakest one in the society. Thank you so much. Oh, Manana was here. Jerry was here. Hello, thank you, thank you. Neville, I was asking if you wanted to close.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll happily throw in a few things at the very end. We've taken people on a fairly extensive journey here, and in the way I promoted this is all the corporates know this, but not many are taking action. Now's the opportunity to take action. Let me just give you a little bit of a history lesson. Jerry, you say, Abraham, you said all the business models are broken. Well, actually, all the business structures are broken as well. And it's been demonstrated. When I've had my first entry into the employment world after university, there were really two parts of the business. One was the finance, administration, personnel. It wasn't called HR, it was called personnel and IT. And the other part was the operational part, which was manufacturing, sales and marketing. Advance that 20 years. We have now, health and safety executive, because the laws changed and all of a sudden companies had to have a health and safety director. Advance that another 20 years. We've now got environmental directors, officers, if you like. So we're now up to 2000. The crisis, the financial crisis in 2008 changed things again. So now the CFO is only a CFO. HR is completely different. We have a CHRO officer. We have an IT officer. We have CISOs, etc. As soon as COVID hit, we were also into the age of digitalization, digital transformation. We now have digital transformation officers. We also have AI officers, call it what you like, really, whether it's augmented information or any other term you want to call it. We are now redefining the whole landscape of who's doing what for whom. It makes obvious sense, actually, because as you and I know, Abraham, we've looked at this so many times. At the very core of this is that resilience. A baby can learn to walk, as Professor Jerry Watt-Leisman said, because it's got one focus. I'm going to walk. Doesn't have to think about feeding themselves, changing themselves, taking the diaper out. They got one focus and they learn how to walk. And that resilience is built very, very early. We've lost that capability. And now we need to have a resilience officer that can literally put that capability back into all of us. We've got loads of tools, both tangible and intangible, that can make that happen pretty quickly.
Gerard, can I add something?
Of course, Jerry.
Okay, as long as we're all here anyway. I'm going to take something from the world of medicine, practical medicine, which I have nothing to do with anymore. One of the big problems that at least I as a patient have is I go to a cardiologist and he tells me something about my heart. I go to a neurologist and he tells me something about my brain. But I go to a neuro-ophthalmologist when I want to get something done with my eyes and brain together, and no one is looking at the big picture. It's kind of like the 6 blind scientists trying to understand something about an elephant, and none of them know what's going on. One of the problems with any kind of organization, as I see it, is the same thing that we have with understanding the brain. You really can't understand the brain without the immune piece, without the blood piece, without the X-ray piece, and so on and so forth. And when you fractionate, pardon me, but it's kind of the idea that the Catholic Church had when they founded the universities of Europe 1,000+ years ago, which is, we, the church, have the big picture, and we're going to make sure that no one else has it. That's why you create departments. When you do that from a human relations standpoint, or you're fractionating it ad absurdum, which is you can't manage the organization because organizations don't work in a piecemeal way. Neither does the brain, neither do human beings. So you can take my comments and do with it what you want, but it's not going to work.
Thank you so much. And you were speaking about social interaction. On the H of VUCA,
hyperconnectivity, exactly.
Have a consequence that we are more connected, but we connect less with the people. We are more isolated. We don't know how to communicate. We don't gather together in the same room. We are not anymore gathering. And as a result, the society with the H, with all the technology, we are more isolated, each of us with ourselves, because we end up to only deal with us, and we don't know how to deal with the rest of the world. So that will bring that to that. Okay. It would be wonderful to spend more time with you, but I think we need to go with the program. And trust me, we'll meet again. All of us, we are working together every day, and we will be very happy to work together on any project, any corporation, any organization, any government will be interested to challenge us with. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
There you go. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.